with their first-year manager Aaron Boone. He got a W in his first big league game as a manager, and they have a good team. We knew that coming in, and they proved it yesterday. Severino, the starter, was terrific. He allowed just one hit to the Blue Jays over 5 2/3. And here's a look at the Yankee lineup last season. They finished up 91 and 71. They were the wild card team in the American League. Aaron Judge, his numbers at Rogers Center very good. 12 for 38, 9 extra base hits, and Judge is a powerful man in that second spot. And then you talk about power. How about Stanton? His numbers against the Blue Jays for his career very impressive. 3 doubles, 6 home runs, including a pair of home runs in the opener yesterday afternoon.
5 of those home runs in this ballpark for Giancarlo Stanton. Aaron Sanchez missed most of 2017 with finger and blister issues, but no signs of trouble this spring. Aaron was outstanding in his last official start of the spring, an earned run, pitching into the 7th inning versus Atlanta. He last pitched on July 19th. That was at Boston before he was placed on the disabled list for the 4th time last year. He'd try to get going and he'd fall back. He'd end up going back on the disabled list. Just couldn't get his season underway. But he hasn't lost to the New York Yankees in 3 career starts.
Behind Sanchez in the outfield, it's Granderson, Pilar, and Grichuk, and there's a new face at third base for the Jays tonight.
Yeah, with the injury to Josh Donaldson, Josh will DH now, and it might be a while, so we'll see Yangervis Solarte at third base. He's played first, second, short, third, left field. This is his first start, obviously, at third base for the Blue Jays, so we'll keep an eye on him tonight.
He made 97 starts for the Yankees at third base in his rookie season in 2014. Sanchez is set. First pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Brett Gardner had a good night. His opening game, hit a home run in the 7th inning against Danny Barnes. He actually had 4 very good at bats.
He led off the ball game with a line drive that was dropped in the outfield, and a couple of other line drives right at the first baseman.
97 miles an hour with great movement. His career numbers against the Yankees are impressive. 1-0 in 3 career starts.
Yeah, that's a number I was looking at as a starter. 3 career starts and an ERA under 2. He has something that some of the other pitchers on the staff do not possess, and that's power. Powerful fastball. You just mentioned the 97-mile-an-hour fastball. If we're going to see that changeup, this might be the time.
There it was, 91 miles an hour. Indeed, that is a changeup, and he really worked hard to refine that pitch to give him a third pitch to attack these hitters with.
And the problems in the past that he had with it was too hard. He wants to get that thing about 10 miles per hour less than his fastball.
Up the middle, off the glove of Diaz. It sneaks past into center. We mentioned the importance and significance of the inner defense for the Blue Jays with 3 ground ball pitchers in the 5-man rotation, and Sanchez is one of those sinker ball pitchers.
He is one of them. He'll get his share of ground ball outs. This one right back through the middle. Looked like Diaz had a shot at it. He would have had to have come up in one motion, catch that ball and flip it, because Gardner can still run just off of his glove.
Leadoff single for Gardner. Here is Aaron Judge. We mentioned his career numbers here at Rogers Center. He's just 1 for 3 against Sanchez. Ground ball. This should be 2. Travis steps on the back for 1. It is a double play. Well, Sanchez really took his time, and he led Travis very well at second. They erased that leadoff single.
And I talk about that before the pitch is even thrown. Who's going to cover second base? So Aaron knows who's going to be there. Catch it. And I was talking to Louis Rivera today about Devin Travis, how comfortable he feels in the field right now. He made a turn in yesterday's ball game very quickly around the bag. That time all in one motion, catch it and get that double play.
2 double plays turned by the Blue Jays in the game yesterday. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. Of course, Stanton with 2 home runs in the opener, and Sanchez gets ahead of him with a good fastball.
I think it's no question you have got to pitch him inside. You cannot let him extend those arms, and that last pitch right there shows you why.
Sanchez quickly ahead 0-2. Stands first at bat against Aaron Sanchez. Of course, Aaron made just 8 starts last year, just over 30 innings pitched. And Stanton has not faced Aaron Sanchez in the past.
That's why he took that first pitch, wanting to get a look at him.
Went upstairs and beat him with that high hitter. Aaron will throw occasionally a 4-seam fastball to elevate the eyes of the hitter, and that's what he did there.
He's got a great 2-seamer where he can sink the ball. His changeup, he said, is really starting to dive a lot more than it did in the past. And of course, he's got the great curveball.
Boy, he got sawed off. Sanchez got caught looking at smoke, but Justin's able to beat Stanton to the bank. Good inning for Aaron Sanchez. They turn a double play in support of Aaron. And throwing any breaking balls.
I love it. Why do it if your fastball and changeup's working? Don't need to show him the curveball just yet.
Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. A little different wrinkle here tonight. Devin Travis is in the lineup top of the order because his numbers are very good against his starter, Masahiro Tanaka. He's 4 for 9 with a pair of doubles. Donaldson is the DH down in the 8th spot. Kevin Pillar carried his great spring training into that game last night. He had a home run here in his opening effort. First opening day home run for Kevin Pillar.
They will face Masahiro Tanaka, who made his major league debut right here at Rogers Center in 2014. All this guy does is win, win, win. He's 52-28 as a Yankee with a .356 earned run average. Had a terrible year last year in the fact that, you know, he won 13 games, but his ERA was approaching 5. Worst season in 4 years with the Yankees, but he redeemed himself with 3 brilliant postseason starts for New York.
Tanaka is set. Travis goes after the first pitch, and it's a high fly ball to center. Brett Gardner's in center field. Aaron Hicks, the starting center fielder last night, has been placed on a disabled list. So Gardner slides over from left to center, and here's the DH tonight, Josh Donaldson.
Nothing wrong with that shoulder during batting practice today. If you had a chance to watch Josh, he was rifling balls to center field. Watching him take batting practice today, he's got plenty of extension and plenty of strength in those arms. His game plan looked like he was going to try and stay in the middle of the field against Tanaka tonight.
Donaldson 5 for 31 against Tanaka with a home run. The numbers for this Blue Jays lineup not very good. This lineup tonight has hit a career 200 against Tanaka. No Henrys Morales in the lineup tonight. Donaldson is the DH, so Morales has to sit this one out at least at the start.
You know, you look at the numbers from Tanaka against the Blue Jays, an ERA under 3. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 12 of his 15 career starts against the Blue Jays. He's got a lot of pitches that he can deal with, so the batters have to make some type of adjustment against him.
Tanaka's ahead 0-2. Tanaka straightened up Donaldson with that inside fastball.
More fastballs tonight so far from Tanaka. That's a purpose pitch. Just push him off the plate just in case he's leaning out over the plate.
Tanaka got away with one. He left that one in the heart of the plate, but he strikes out Donaldson. 2 away. Let's take a look at the Yankees defense. Billy McKinney making his major league debut in left field. Gardner's in center and Judge is in right, and they've got a new first baseman tonight.
Neil Walker, who was at second base yesterday, came in at first base towards the end of the game. Will get the start today against the right-hander. 9th career start at first base. Majority of his games at second base. He's very versatile, and there's a couple of players on this Yankee team who's very versatile. He's one of them.
Tanaka using that fastball early in this inning. Gets ahead of Justin Smoke. Smoke's just 1 for 18 against Tanaka. Ball is driven to left field. McKinney is back. It's over his head and off the wall. Smoke is headed for second. He'll get there with a stand-up double. Just his second career hit against Tanaka.
He was telling you, Smoke was telling you before the ball game about breaking balls backdoor that he gets from Tanaka, and he felt like they weren't breaking enough, and he kept hitting them off the end of the bat. This is a splitter that's down and away, and look how he stays on this ball and drives it over the head of the left fielder.
He was really looking for balls away in his pregame preparation. He said, you know, Tanaka always throws me a lot of pitches outside, and most of the time they don't break coming back to the plate. And that was a good example of having a good game plan. 2-out double now, Curtis Granderson.
Isn't that funny? He was throwing fastballs and he got a fly ball. He got a strikeout. He used his fastball to get ahead, strike one. And the minute he throws that splitter, the Blue Jays were all over it.
2 outs. Blue Jays trying to break through on top here in the bottom of the first. High fly ball. Shallow right field. Tyler Wade is out there, and the inning is over. Granderson pops out. Smoke with a 2-out double and nothing more. No score after an inning.
Tulowitzki was placed on the 60-day DL. Earlier this afternoon, General Manager Ross Atkins broke the news that Tulowitzki will have surgery on Monday to remove bone spurs from both heels. Atkins said Tulowitzki thought a more conservative treatment on his right foot would be the best thing for him, but over time, he said the other bone spur on the left foot started to aggravate him as well. Now, Tulowitzki did see three specialists, 3-foot specialists. He communicated with 5 until the decision was made to move forward with the surgery. So why now? Why not during the offseason? Atkins said the symptom didn't present itself until right up to the beginning of spring training. So Buck, his Blue Jay tenure just plagued by injuries and some more bad news for Troy Tulowitzki.
Absolutely, Hazel, and it has been the case for the last several years, going back to his hip surgery while he was in Colorado in 2014.
You ever walk around with a pebble in your shoe and it's just nagging and it hurts? That's what it's like when you have a bone spur in your heel.
Yeah, a very sharp pebble.
Yeah, or a pin or a nail or something like that, and you have the option to go ahead and take your shoe off and get that pebble out there. Well, he had to have surgery to get that thing fixed.
D.D. Gregorius hammers that breaking ball. Pillar's on the run, and he misses it. He got back to it, swiped at it, and went beyond his glove. Gregorius is headed for third, and the Blue Jays missed the cutoff man. We talk about defense all the time, and the one thing Tim Leeper wants from his outfielders is hit the first cutoff man. And Pillar's throw airmailed both Diaz and Travis. They had a shot at him at third if they hit the first cutoff man.
Yeah, maybe they have a shot if they hit that first cutoff man slider or curveball, and that ball is slicing away from Pillar. From a left-hander bat, that ball's going to slice away from him. Here's the mistake right here. He overthrows the cutoff man, and you can see how that ball is tailing. If you hit that first cutoff man, then he can wheel and fire and have a little bit more accuracy to get a shot at that runner at third base.
So Gregorius at third with the triple. And now this is going to be a play at the plate. Solarte very alertly comes home. The infield was conceding a run, but it was hit right to Solarte, and he had a heads-up play to make the throw to Martin.
You know, as a runner at third base, you're taught, hey, there's nobody out. The only ground ball you're going to go on is the ball in the middle of the diamond. Mistake right there by the Yankees, and a heads-up play by Solarte. If they're going to give you an out, and he doesn't get a real good jump at third base at all, you can see there, heads-up play. Hey, get the guy at third base, or from third base. Eliminate that leadoff triple. And the Blue Jays do take care of it right there by getting the runner at home.
You saw Neil Walker, the on-deck hitter, trying to encourage Gregorius to slide away from the tag. But boy, that's a big play by Solarte. That leadoff triple, more than likely, you're going to concede a run. Leadoff triple in an inning, especially early in the game.
Yeah, they were in the middle of the diamond, but that ball was on, what, 2 hops to the third baseman? Easy play for Solarte.
Now that double play is in order. They turned a double play in the first. This is Neil Walker. First baseman, Pat mentioned, this is just his 9th start at first base. His previous 8 starts all came last year. He made 1 start at first with the Mets, and then 7 after he was traded to Milwaukee.
This has a chance to be a pretty good pickup by the Yankees, considering what happened to Greg Bird at the end of spring training.
Fly ball left field, Granderson. No issue with the lights here, a much higher trajectory. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. We mentioned the lights. Granderson, the first play of the game, lost the ball in the lights, was charged with an error. Ball hit off the bat of Brett Gardner, but it was a much lower trajectory, fly ball to left.
He felt terrible about that. He said, you know, if I stayed back, maybe I could have, you know, caught the ball as it went to the ground. I know I would have been able to see it, but as soon as I stepped into the ball, it just never came out of the lights. He'll get used to playing here. It's happened to a lot of players here in this ballpark.
The batter is Billy McKinney. This is his first big league game. Numbers a year ago, AA, AAA. He had a good spring. Had 5 home runs and drove in 13. Tied for the team lead in home runs.
Not really known as a power hitter in his minor league career. Former first-round draft pick. He's been with 3 different organizations now.
Ball on the strike. Sanchez pitching with 2 outs. Another foul ball. You talk about different organizations. Boy, he's been involved in some big trades. He went from the A's, his original club, to the Cubs, along with Addison Russell, Dan Straley, for Jason Hamill and Jeff Samardzija. And then he came to the Yankees in a deal with Chicago. That big deal that included Aroldis Chapman. Aaron Sanchez ahead. 1-2, 2 outs. Good job by Russ Martin. When you catch Aaron Sanchez when he's throwing that 97-mile-an-hour sinker, you really got to be on your toes. You really don't know how that ball's going to react.
Side spin. See the side spin? And once it hits the dirt, you're right, no idea. You're better off just trying to block it and keeping that ball in front of you. It's a good pitch. He went away, and then tried that comeback fastball in the inner half. And I think Russell's having something to say to the home plate umpire tonight, Paul Nauert, thinking that that was a strike.
Full count, 2 outs. Smoke at first will back behind the runner. There goes Sanchez. Ball is hit on the ground. Past Devin Travis into right. Sanchez goes first to third. Pritchett plays it back in, and Billy McKinney has his first big league hit. Reggie Willits, the first base coach, reminding the umpires, hey man, let's get that baseball. That's his first big league hit.
Aaron knows all about that, fires that out. Devin Travis was talking with Luis Rivera today about balls to his left, saying, you know, I have a tendency to go in on those balls. I need to give a little bit more ground. Let's watch his path to the ball here. Ball's hit to his left. You can see he goes right across instead of giving some ground. And they were trying to work on that to say you can give ground because you got some time. Catch the baseball and you can make the out.
So McKinney has a big league hit. He's at first. Sanchez is at third. This is Brandon Drury, the third baseman. Drury hit the 7th in the game yesterday, went 1 for 4, struck out a couple of times.
That is Steve Donahue, the trainer, marking up that first big league hit. That'll go in the trunk, make its way back to New York and into Billy McKinney's locker.
Donahue has done that a few times. This is his 40th year with the Yankees, his 7th season as the head trainer. Two balls and no strikes. Yankees threatening here in their half of the second. Pretty well placed pitch, 2-0.
Down and away and on the corner. Not much that Drury could do with that one. Stay right there and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, you could tell them you're going to throw it out there and they wouldn't do much with it. Another pitch outside. Grichuk on the run. This ball is going to be off the top of the wall. Sanchez is in to score. They try to stop the runner at third, and he does. McKinney stopped at third. Sanchez comes in to score. An opposite field 2-out double for Brandon Drury, and the Yankees break out on top.
That is where his power is, and I think that's why he's going to have Drury a pretty good season in New York. The difference between that pitch and the previous pitch, remember you said you could tell him where it's coming and he's not going to hit it. It was away, but that time it was up. And Drury hits it off the top of the wall. That'll score Sanchez, and it's going to send McKinney to third base, and he gets the go-ahead. But then the late stop sign, he's got to throw the brakes on.
Phil Nevin is the third base coach in his first year with the Yankees. Tyler Wade, his first start. He did not start in the game yesterday, came in as a defensive replacement at second base.
Had a good year last year in AAA. and had maybe 70 at-bats with the Yankees and didn't do much with that. But he showed his new manager that he can really play. Very athletic, can run, can field, he's versatile, can play different positions. Had a good spring with the bat.
You talked about the versatility of Wade. Brandon Jury's the same way, and the same for Billy McKinney.
They are electing to take an extra reliever, just playing with a three-man bench, so you better be very versatile.
Change it for a strikeout, and the Yankees leave a pair, but they break out on top. It could have been worse had it not been for a fine defensive play by Yervis Solarte. Granderson led off with a triple, but Solarte alertly goes home to nail the runner at the plate, but the Yankees still have a 1-0 lead. With the New York Yankees, and you look what he has done. 12+ wins in the first 4 seasons since 1961. You talk about a who's who of pitching. Tanaka's right there with some of the best.
Yeah, a couple of Hall of Famers at the top up there. This is 12 wins in your first 4 seasons in the big leagues. Tom Seaver did it from 67 to 70. The Eck from 75 through 78. Dwight Gooden was pretty good too. And then there's Teddy Higuera, very underrated pitcher with the Milwaukee Brewers when he first came in. Andy Pettitte did it. And then Tanaka. Tanaka's also one of 5 major league pitchers to win at least 12 games in the last 4 seasons. Greinke did it, Kershaw, Sale, and Scherzer.
Here is Yervis Solarte. He takes all the way and takes a strike. We mentioned Solarte broke in with the Yankees in 2014. Last year, those were his numbers with the Padres. Had a good cut at that splitter. Looked like he was sitting all over it.
Yeah, you could see it big coming out of that glove from Tanaka. Trying to make him work a little bit quicker. Try to throw fewer pitches. At times he can start throwing a little bit of everything and get out of his rhythm.
Breaking ball pulled foul. Tanaka had an opt-out in his contract last off-season. An opt-out clause. He had a 7-year contract he signed with the Yankees for $155 million, but he had his career worst season, a .474 earned run average. So he decided wisely, you know what, I'm good.
Probably he saw what happened also this winter with some of the other free agents.
There's a good split right at the bottom of the zone. Walker will take it himself, 1 away.
Well, I mentioned that he throws a little bit of everything. How about if you slice up the pie to what the pitches that he features, you're going to have a whole lot of pieces to spread around. Slider, fastball, splitter. pretty much evenly matched with those three. Then down at the bottom, the changeup, the curveball, and the cutter. He's going to use a little bit of each one of those things. So as a hitter, you can see a lot of those are off-speed pitches. So the Blue Jay batters, they're going to be looking something off-speed from him. Early in his career, 4 years ago when he first started, his fastball was 94, 95. It's not there anymore. So they can look off speed and adjust to the fastball.
Swing and a drive. Get up, ball. Get up, bag. Out of here. Randall Grichuk, his first home run of the season. And that was a problem for Tanaka a year ago.
35 of them that he gave up. That's number one.
Randall Grichuk's mom and dad are here in the ballpark. What a thrill for him. He's got a home run in the books, and he has just tied it up.
His first big league home run was right here in this ballpark, and now his first Blue Jay home run is off of Tanaka. All over that first pitch fastball. He hit 22 of them last year for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's number one this year. Fastball, four-seamer. Look at that thing. Right over the middle. Little in, right where you like it.
Russell Martin.
Really, no doubt about it. He's got some power. He can hit the ball out in right field. His first big league home run came to center field, and that time pulls it to left field. Tanaka had problems with the long ball last year.
Only three pitchers allowed more home runs than Tanaka. Rick Porcello gave up 38, Ariel Miranda 37, and John Leckie gave up 36. For Tanaka, he gave up 35 home runs a year ago. He's given up a home run here tonight. Borderline strike. Russell didn't like it. "91 games for Martin, fewest games of his career." Martin had to reach for that outside pitch and grounds out to second.
Well, I was just talking about his first big league home run, and we're going to dial it up for you. Off of Mark Burley as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. Deep to center field. Anthony Ghost runs out of room. That's his first big league home run. You can break it down now.
Randall's dad, George, told me about the Burley relationship. He says, yeah, he's got a relationship with Mark Burley. He hit his first big league home run right here. Kevin Pillar tried to check his swing and taps it foul. I think this is going to be a good ballpark for Randall Grichuk.
I do too. I think if he stays healthy and he plays every day, I think you can mark it down at least 25 home runs. I think he's going to enjoy hitting in the American League East when he gets around and starts to see some of those smaller ballparks.
Look out. Now they extended the netting to the end of the Blue Jays dugout, but it didn't go all the way down there. And it appears as though everybody is okay. People trying to deflect that bat before it really did any major damage, but everybody appears to be fine. Kevin had a great spring. He was 21 for 48, a .438 average, hit a couple of home runs and drove in 8. He accounted for the only Blue Jay run last night with a solo home run in the 8th. That's a fair ball. Just inside the line, all the way down the left field line. Pillar is headed for a second, and he'll get there. For his first double of the season, he hit 37 doubles a year ago.
His approach at the plate is so good right now. He's so quiet. You don't see him with a little extra movement. Look at that. See it? That's a two-strike approach right there. Keeps it just inside the line, down the left field line for extra bases. He's going to get a lot more of those type of hits if he keeps that approach at the plate.
2 doubles and a home run so far for the Blue Jays. Diaz chases that off-speed pitch. Blue Jays have 5 hits in the season. 4 of them have gone for extra bases. 2 doubles, 2 homers. This was a real weak spot for the Blue Jays last year, batting with runners in scoring position. They've got to improve upon that this year. They got to cash in these run scoring opportunities.
Cash in, and when they make mistakes, the pitchers hit the ball hard. Use the whole field.
Tanaka gets that one right off the outside corner. That gets the foul ball. It's 0-2. There are the numbers we were talking about. Runners in scoring position. Diaz hit 222. The Blue Jays as a team a year ago hit 229. Pulled on the ground. Drury at third. Across the diamond in time. That ends the inning. But the Blue Jays get a run. Tanaka gave up 35 home runs a year ago. Randall Grichuk hits his first home run of the season. A shot to dead center. It's a 1-1 game.
On Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Beautiful evening in Toronto. It's a 1-1 ball game as Brandon Drury drove in the Yankee run. Randall Grichuk a solo shot. That's where we stand as we head to the top of the third. For the Yankees, it'll be the top of the order. Gardner, Judge, and Stanton. Both Sanchez and Tanaka throwing a lot of strikes early in this game.
You know what they're doing? They're using their fastball, especially early in the count. They're establishing that fastball early on, and it'll help them set up some of their other pitches. Sanchez last inning thought he was out of the inning against McKinney. Thought he had him struck out. Unfortunately, ended up giving up a run.
Late movement there, and it catches the outside corner. Brett Gardner, he singled right back up the middle in the first inning, was erased on a double play off the bat of Aaron Judge. Look at that movement.
That's a changeup. You can see it in his glove when he gets ready to release the ball. It's 90 miles an hour, but what's impressive about it is the movement, how hard it goes down. I asked him about that the other day. I said, how's the changeup coming along? He says, man, I feel great. It feels awesome coming out of my hand. I feel confident with it.
There was another changeup, grounder to second. Gardner's retired. You know, when you have the stuff like Aaron Sanchez, you can be a two-pitch pitcher. Fastball, changeup. Basically, it's two fastballs. You're just changing speed on your fastball, and that's how you get balls off the end of the bat, the way Sanchez got Gardner.
It helps when you throw 97 miles an hour. You got great movement with that fastball, but you're right. It's like using two different types of fastballs. We haven't even seen his curveball yet.
1 out. Aaron Judge grounded into a 1-4-3 double play his first time up. Couple of balls inside. When you're dealing with hitters like Judge and Stanton, they're both big guys. Judge is 6'7". Of course, they have long arms and they can really cover the outer part of the plate. Blue Jays haven't really figured out how to get him out just yet. He's hit 345 against them.
What's impressive about him, if you go back to 2016, he was an out. He struck out half the time that he was in the big leagues. He had holes all over his swing, but he's become very patient. He can handle the outside pitch. Sure, he's going to have his share of strikeouts, but I'll trade some of those strikeouts for the home runs, and he's got a very good on-base percentage. That's why he's hitting high in the order.
Fly ball to right. Grichuk's got room. That ball was dying. Had to come back toward the infield to make the catch. 2 out. Well, Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 home runs in the season opener yesterday, and he put his name in the record books with some pretty impressive Yankee legends.
Yeah, multi-home run games on opening day. This is since 1956. Joe Pepitone, he was a coach of mine in the Yankee organization. What a great guy he is. Of course, Roger Maris did it in 1960, and Mickey Mantle in 1956. Multi-home run games on opening day. That's a welcome to New York. Your first game as the Yankees, as a Yankee addition, to hit a couple of home runs in your first game. Take some of the pressure off.
Sanchez using that fastball very effectively. Prior to Stanton's 2-homer game yesterday, his first as a Yankee, Roger Maris also hit 2 home runs in his Yankee debut way back in 1960. The encouraging thing about Stanton's multi-home run game early in the season, traditionally his numbers in March and April are the worst of his career.
He's just picking up where he left off last year.
There's another changeup, and he gets the strikeout of Giancarlo Stanton. 3 up, 3 down, top of the order. Aaron Sanchez off to a good start. It's a 1-1 ball game. That new changeup proving to be very effective for Sanchez.
Market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And you can certainly follow all the action around baseball. And there's a heck of a pitcher's duel going on down in Tampa Bay. David Price and Blake Snell, as the Red Sox have one hit. The Rays don't have any through 3 innings.
I think Price is going to have a big year. I really think he has something to prove. He said last year was a nightmare type of season for him.
Devin Travis shoots it down the right side, but that's going to slice into the seats. David Price, of course, was such an impactful pitcher while he pitched here for the Blue Jays, and a disappointing run in Boston so far.
They need a big start from him tonight because of what happened in last night's game down in Tampa.
The Red Sox bullpen wasted 6 scoreless innings of 1-hit ball from Chris Sale. 6 innings, take the starter out, 1 hit. I don't know about that.
Yeah, and then give up 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
Happened to the Phillies as well. Aaron Nola was dealing, and they took Aaron Nola out of the game. And Gabe Kapler, boy, he has taken some heat. Took Nola out of the game after just 68 pitches, fewest by a starter on opening day. Ball is shot down the right side again. That's going to slice out of play. Kepler also dealt with controversy before the game. Center fielder Odubel Herrera was not in the opening day lineup. An all-star.
All-star against a right-hander in Atlanta, where the ball blows out to right field.
Sometimes you can outsmart yourself.
Well, all I can say is we don't know all the facts of what's going on behind the scenes and what goes into the decision.
Tanaka strikes out Travis, a well-located slider. Second strikeout of the game for Tanaka.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bit of a shot of downtown Toronto, CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center. Josh Donaldson called out on strikes his first time up. Donaldson a year ago dealt with early season injuries. He made 6 starts at third base, then had the calf issue flare up. Made 2 more starts as a DH and then went on the DL. Hopefully that won't be the case this year. Tanaka's done a good job of locating that slider away from the right-handed hitters.
Well, there's so many pitches you have to think about in your mind. I think if you eliminate some of them, say, you know what, I'm just going to look splitter, or I'm just going to look slider, at least early in the count, I think it'll make it a little bit easier on some of these hitters.
Popped up, foul ground. Walker over near the seats, and just a few rows back into the seats, out of play.
If you start guessing with Tanaka, or if you start chasing pitches around the strike zone, you're probably going to guess wrong. Early in the count, let's eliminate some of those pitches and sit on one pitch. Then if you have a scouting report and you have a little history with him, then you have a pretty good idea of what he's going to try and use to finish you off. Last time it was a breaking ball to Donaldson that he struck out on.
A hanging splitter there, as Donaldson give him a few more at bats, and that one will end up in the seats. Tanaka has the 5th best winning percentage among active pitchers with 75 or more decisions. Coming into this game, 52 and 28. One and 2 pitch. Another splitter. This one bounced in the dirt. You know, Gary Sanchez catching Tanaka takes a lot of heat behind the plate, but he improved dramatically last year. Remember, Joe Girardi benched him for a while. The pitchers like to throw to him, and according to the pitching coach, Sanchez does a good job of calling the game, taking the game plan into the ball game and executing it.
Foul tip. We talked about that a little bit in yesterday's ball game about how difficult it is to catch some of these Yankee pitchers. I mean, when you've got Chapman who's throwing 100 and Betances and the rest of the guys out in the bullpen, then you've got Sonny Gray, who's got a great curveball. Tanaka, he's got everything that he can throw up there. Severino was nasty yesterday. I mean, it can be difficult to try and even catch these guys.
Donaldson strikes out. Frustrating at bat for Josh. He had 2 or 3 pitches to hit in that at bat and ends up striking out.
Especially the previous pitch that was a hanging breaking ball. That time he came up without a base hit. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. You see Tanaka finishes him off with that slider, and Donaldson a little bit late on the swing.
Justin Smoak had an opposite field double his first time up. There's that outside breaking ball. Smoak's aware that Tanaka will throw him that pitch a lot, and he stayed on it the first time for that opposite field double. Tanaka missed his spot. They were trying to come in.
When he first came over here and started pitching for the Yankees, that fastball right there at 91, when he first came over here, it was 94, 95, making it awfully tough to deal with that and all the other assortment of pitches that he has.
There were a lot of adjustments for Tanaka coming from Japan. The mounds in Japan are softer than mounds here in the major leagues. The balls are a little bit different, so there were a lot of challenges for him early in his career.
The rotations are a little bit different. There's another backdoor breaking ball, and Smokey swung at it like he knew it was coming.
In Japan, starters pitch once a week. Over here, there's a 5-man rotation. But he has adapted very well. His last 2 starts a year ago both came against the Blue Jays. He finished up with a 7-inning 3-hit affair and struck out 15. See, now you talk about setting up a hitter, and that's what that last pitch was. A one-shot trying to catch the inside corner and catch Smoak by surprise. Everything had been away until that 5th slider. He wanted it right on the inside corner.
Maybe he swings right over the top of it, but he showed some patience to run the count to full.
Splitter. Another strikeout, and Smoak asking if it was high enough. Tanaka strikes out the side in the 3rd.
wraps up March in style with all Canadian matchups in Toronto and Calgary. First, Nazem Kadri and the Leafs challenge Blake Wheeler and the high-flying Jets. Then the Battle of Alberta rages as the Flames face Connor McDavid and the Oilers. It's Hockey Night in Canada tomorrow on CBC.
Lots of great hockey action, and certainly the Raptors, they have captured everybody's imagination with a great season going on. They're getting close to the end of their regular season and looking forward to the playoffs, both the Leafs and the Raptors. Didi Gregorius tripled to lead off the second, and he was thrown out trying to score on a heads-up play by Yanniris Solarte, the third baseman.
Didi hitting fourth tonight for Aaron Boone's team, and they needed to get a left-handed batter to split up some of these righties against Aaron Sanchez.
That's going to drop for another hit. Grichuk trying to cut it off. He does, but Gregorius is headed for second. He gets there with a head-first slide.
And so far, Aaron Boone looks brilliant. He tripled his first time up, and now he doubles. He had an .848 OPS versus right-handed pitching last year. And Aaron was saying the other day, we need a lefty to split up some of these righties, Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez. And it works out as Gregorius gets a changeup down and out over the plate and golfs it into the corner.
Gregorius hit his triple on a curveball. This double comes on a changeup. Grichuk cuts it off, but not in time to keep Gregorius from getting to second. So a leadoff double here in the fourth. Sanchez hit that ball to the third baseman when the Blue Jays gunned down Gregorius at the plate. He scored the Yankees run on an RBI double by Brandon Drury. He pops this one up. That's playable. Smoke the first baseman, Martin the catcher. Martin makes the play, and Gregorius holds his ground at second.
You know, that's really interesting. I was wondering if Gary Sanchez was going to try and drive the runner in from second base or try to move the runner over to third base. He's an RBI guy. It looked like he slowed his swing down just a little bit to try and hit the ball to the right side of the infield, and that really hurt him.
Sure did. He drove in 90 runs last year. I don't think Aaron Boone wants him to try to feather the ball to the right side. But he pops out for the first out of the inning.
Sanchez, Aaron Sanchez did a good job of jamming that fastball inside, but it just looked like Gary Sanchez slowed down just enough, threw off his timing at the plate.
This is Neil Walker. Walker flying out the left field. Walker spent the majority of his career with the Pirates. Last year he split time between the Mets and the Brewers and signed late here with the Yankees.
He's had some good years when he was with the Pirates and when he was with the Mets. And like I said, when he was hitting the first time, this might be a real underrated sign right towards the end of spring training.
Well, one thing that the Yankees have always kept their eye out for, switch hitters. When you get switch hitters, it's like having an extra spot on your roster. And Neil Walker is a switch hitter. Spent 7 seasons with the Pirates, a career .272 hitter.
Versatile. He's at first base today.
Sanchez underneath that fastball has been. Look at all 4 of those pitches up and away. You got to be your own pitching coach out there and just make an adjustment. You can see him trying to remind himself, go towards home plate, drive towards the batter, and lead with your hand. That'll get you back down into that good part of the strike zone.
Get you where you need to be. I wonder if he takes a shot here of trying to throw one inside.
3 balls and a strike.
Everything has been away.
And he missed away, ball 4. That's the first walk issued by Sanchez. It comes with 1 out here in the 4th. John Gibbons obviously very anxious to see a healthier in Sanchez. He made 30 starts in 2016, just 8 last year because of the issues with that fingernail.
And when he pitched healthy in 2016, what a season. 15-2, he was an all-star, led the American League in earned run average.
Billy McKinney breaks his bat. Diaz goes to second. They'll get 1. That's all they will get. Gregorius moves to third on the ground out. They force out at second base. Ledmus Diaz kind of moved toward the bag before the pitch was delivered. Watch him behind the screen there as he moves toward the second base bag a step and then has to go back to his right to make the play.
It looked like he was just trying to get some vision of the hitter, like the runner was in his view, and he just had to move a step or 2 to his left. I still don't think they would have been able to turn the double play. McKinney can really run.
Now there are 2 outs, runners at the corners. Brandon Drury hit a ball off the top of the right field fence just in front of the Yankee bullpen for an RBI double back in the 2nd. Top of the 4th inning in a 1-1 game. Base hit to left field. Gregorius is going to come in to score. McKinney stops at second. Brandon Drury has driven in both Yankee runs, hitting in the 8th spot.
1 to right field. That was a double off the top of the wall to right field. This time he's going to be able to pull the ball and get it into the outfield. 4-seam fastball. Still got some run on the inner half of the plate, but Drury pulls it for the RBI. Didi Gregorius leading off both innings with extra base hits. The 2 innings that the Yankees have scored their runs.
Ground ball, fair ball. Smoke steps on the bag, but the Yankees get another run. Brandon Drury, their young third baseman, 2 RBIs, and the Yankees have a 2-1 lead.
honored guests from one of TD's community partners. And a reminder, Sportsnet is presenting a new baseball podcast, A Swing and a Belt with Dan Shulman. Go behind the scenes with personal stories from the game. It all drops next Thursday. See that, Buck? I said drops next Thursday.
Yeah, that's foreign to me, Hazel. I guess that means it's going to start on Thursday. Should be a great show. Dan Shulman is going to have a podcast talking about the inside workings of baseball. So Tanaka staked to a one-run lead. It's 2-1 as the Blue Jays are set to bat in the bottom of the fourth. It'll be the cleanup hitter, Curtis Granderson, Solarte, and then Randall Grichuk. Tanaka struck out the side in the bottom of the third. He got Travis Donaldson and Smoke.
So he starts off Granderson with a slow curveball. No patterns shown by Tanaka tonight.
Anderson goes around, checking with the home plate umpire Paul Nart. 0-2. And Tanaka, you talk about mixing his pitches. Again, we got to give credit to Gary Sanchez. Tanaka's working very quickly and hasn't shaken off too many pitches. That's 4 strikeouts in a row for Tanaka.
And career strikeout number 100 against the Blue Jays. That's how dominant he has been against them in his 15 starts. Splitter. He went curveball, high fastball, splitter down and away. He's had those 100 strikeouts in 95 innings.
His final regular season start a year ago, he had a career high 15 strikeouts against the Blue Jays in 7 innings. High fly ball, shallow center. Gardner coming in. He is there and makes the catch. 6 in a row retired by Tanaka after the Kevin Pillar double back in the second.
Well, now he's got Grichuk. Grichuk homered on the first pitch, and it was a BP fastball. Don't think he's going to throw him a first pitch fastball this time.
You know what? If I were catching, I'd throw it to him again. It's the last thing a hitter thinks he's going to get.
Grichuk was thinking along your line. He was looking fastball again.
Yes, he was. He got that check swing slider. Called for a strike. When Tanaka gets zeroed in like he is early in this ballgame, he's a tough customer.
It looked like, at least to me, that he was trying to establish fastball early and getting ahead. But then once Grichuk homered off the fastball, he's back to his old ways. A lot of off-speed pitches.
Breaking ball stayed on the inside part of the plate, but it's a high fly ball to center. 7 in a row retired by Tanaka. Just 7 pitches used here in the bottom of the fourth. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
after belting his second home run last night, his new teammates gave him the silent treatment in the dugout. Stanton said post-game he was caught a little bit off guard. Quote, "I wasn't ready for that one. I'm going to need a better act next time through." Now, manager Aaron Boone said you want guys to peak in the final week of camp, and that's what he saw from Stanton. He was starting to find his groove. On every pitch, he was in a good place. Boone said when Stanton gets on time, quote, "he's deadly like that." Stanton has 5 home runs now in 4 games at Rogers Center, Buck, and when asked why he's comfortable here, Stanton smiled and said, quote, "good dimensions."
I don't think dimensions have to worry about that with him.
Good dimensions as the Yankees have a 2-1 lead. Giancarlo Stanton with 2 home runs in yesterday's game now has 268 career home runs through his first 1,001 games. Only 4 players have hit more through 1,000 games: Ryan Howard, Ralph Kiner, Harmon Killebrew, and Juan Gonzalez. And he's just now really figuring out how to hit.
Battled some injuries early on in his career. Remember, he got hit in the face a couple of seasons ago, and that's why he wears that extra protection. I'm telling you, that can have a very negative effect on you trying to hit when you come back from that.
Absolutely, and you can't blame him for wearing that protection. He says he chooses to wear it mostly against right-handed pitching. Mike Fiers of the Brewers hit him with an errant pitch up in the face. You remember the late Paul Blair. He got hit in the face, and before that hit by pitch, he was a pretty good hitter, and after that he just really never became the same hitter that he was prior to being hit by that pitch.
Of course, everybody remembers Tony Conigliaro. That was the worst I've ever seen. Basically ended his career.
One of the best young hitters in the game, and he got hit in the face and had terrible injuries and never was the same. So Gardner leads off with a walk. The Yankees have had their leadoff man aboard in 4 of the 5 innings. Aaron Judge 0 for 2. Gardner will run. 23 steals a year ago.
Yeah, he was only thrown out 5 times all of last season. But he's hitting in front of the big boys, so if you go, I think you got to be sure you make it.
Pitch missed upstairs. Sanchez hasn't been thrilled about the strike zone tonight. Paul Nart, the home plate umpire. And Russell Martin looks like he's wondering where that last pitch was.
I think Aaron was hoping to get that pitch, the high strike on the inside part of the plate, and that'll open up everything else.
Another pitch inside, and Judge swings right through it. Ball and a strike to the right fielder. Pat, you made a great point about Judge's first season in the majors. He literally struck out half the times he came to the plate.
Yeah, I think it was 41 out of 82 or 42 out of 84 times up, but he's made some adjustments. It's quiet. He was susceptible to breaking balls off the plate. Fastballs up. Right now, he's got a good idea at the plate.
He plugged up the holes for sure. Counts in Judge's favor, 2-1. First to check in on Gardner. In fact, it was 42 strikeouts in 84 at bats his first season, 2016. He hit just 179 with 4 homers and 10 ribbies.
One of the youngest players ever to have a 50 home run season. Did it when he was just 25 years old.
52 home runs. He scored 128 runs, walked 127 times, but he struck out 208 times. Two balls and a strike. Ground ball to third. Solarte bobbles to Travis for 1. Scooped over at first by Smoke. Well, it took a while for that double play to develop. Solarte had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, but they were able to double up. Judge a second double play turn behind Sanchez tonight.
Because the ball was hit so hard, they had a lot of time to turn it, even though they were going around the diamond. Solarte, there's the momentary bobble. That allows Gardner to get on Devin Travis over at second base, but Travis, who's been turning some pretty good double plays, had a couple in yesterday's ball game, stays right in there and finishes it off.
Here is Giancarlo Stanton. Breaking ball for a strike. Changeup, he buried that one in the dirt. 1-1.
Aaron has been great all spring long. When you watch him throw, you want to see, okay, is he worried about the finger? I don't think there's any question that he's okay. He took that fastball and he was going to challenge Stanton, and he won that battle.
Two and two. Power against power. Shatters his bat. Solarte throws out Stanton. The barrel of the bat ended up deep in the seats behind the Blue Jays dugout. He gets deep in the kitchen of Giancarlo Stanton. He got judged to hit into a double play, and he saws off Giancarlo Stanton.
Check out your Blue Jays. The White Sox head into town after the New York Yankees from April 2nd to the 4th. Then the Royals, Red Sox, and Rangers round out the month. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Of course, the White Sox got a terrific effort from Matt Carpenter as he went and hit 3 home runs, huh? Davidson.
Matt Davidson, third baseman.
Yep.
Against Kansas City, they've been scoring a lot of runs. The White Sox.
Everybody was quick to say, oh, the White Sox are rebuilding, but you know what? They've got some pretty interesting young players. Russell Martin swings through a high breaking ball. The Blue Jays have had some pitches to hit tonight. Tanaka's left some breaking balls up in the zone.
Yeah, he's gotten under some of those breaking balls, and they've stayed over the middle of the plate. Russell saw that one right out of his hand. Unfortunately, can't come up with it. Took a mighty hack at it. Tanaka's trying to do something a little bit different than from last year. He had a great spring last season and had a terrible year, ERA about 5. He had an awful spring this year, and he's hoping to have a good season.
Drops that breaking ball in there for strike 2. Tanaka improved in the second half of last season over his last 13 starts in the 2017 season. He was 8-4 with a 294 earned run average.
Followed that up with 3 really good starts in the playoffs.
Popped up. Walker into foul ground. Martin's retired, 1 away.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Roof is closed at Rogers Center tonight. It was 1 degree at the start of this game. The beauty of having a roof. Kevin Pillar had a ground ball double his first time up, just inside the bag at third. We mentioned Pillar had a terrific spring. He hit .438 for the spring. Pulls this one foul.
Another assortment of pitches right there from Tanaka. Something off speed. There are the numbers you were just talking about. A couple of home runs and 8 RBIs. Looks like Kevin's trying to shake off some bees or something in his hand. Looked like he hit that one off the end of the bat.
Got a battle now. It's 0-2. Well, you get 2 strikes. You got to protect the plate. He did just that. Went upstairs and fouled off that high fastball.
Yeah, he can go back up there if he wants to, or he can try and throw the split that's been very effective.
Another defensive hack, but Pillar stays alive.
Hey, I'll take that as a 2-strike approach. You know, just foul off those tough pitches, and Tanaka threw 2 tough ones. One up and in, and one down and away. Until you get something, you recognize something out of his hands quickly, then you can take your regular swing.
One of the first times Tanaka hasn't been in agreement with Sanchez. Sanchez offered just about everything he could think of and says, let's start over again. Splitter in the dirt. Another strikeout for Tanaka. The Blue Jays now have been set down 9 straight batters.
You know, you don't have to always, when you strike a guy out, throw a strike. When you start to expand, and he did this on purpose, I'm going to bounce a breaking ball. I've got some trust in my catcher. He's going to block it. But this was a design pitch to bounce and expand the strike zone and see if Kevin goes out there to try and swing at it, which he does.
Squibbed off the end of the bat. And then Diaz grounded out to third base, his only timer. Tanaka has retired 9 straight. Last man to reach, Kevin Pillar. He doubled back into second. 5 strikeouts through those 9 at-bats. I tell you what, he can really carve up the corners, can he? That slider just made Diaz reach for it.
He's throwing that slider in a good spot to the righties, down and away. And then as a hitter, you start anticipating it. You inch a little bit closer to the plate and you start looking for it out there. And that's where the catcher then says, okay, let's bust him inside with a fastball. And he wants to go back out there.
Another strikeout. 10 in a row retired by Masahiro Tanaka. His first start of the season. He's held the Blue Jays to 1 run on 3 hits.
Presented by Honda. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 31st, the first 20,000 fans will receive this Justin Smoke bobblehead when the Blue Jays continue their series with the New York Yankees. Note the start time, 4:07 p.m. The gates will open at 2 p.m. For tickets, visit bluejays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. You hit 38 home runs and they make a bobblehead for you. Good for Justin Smoke, and I'm sure that'll be a big impetus for a lot of these fans to come on out early. Gates open at 2 p.m. as Hazel mentioned, and the game starts just after 4 p.m. local time. We'll be right back with you tomorrow afternoon, of course. CC Sabathia will tee it up against Marco Estrada. Sabathia had a good season a year ago, 14-5. Marco Estrada had a very good spring training. Here's that guy, Didi Gregorius. He has tripled and doubled and scored a run. Both batting leadoff. Triple in the second, double in the fourth. Both of the extra base hits for Gregorius came on off-speed pitches.
So he's pumped a couple of fastballs in there against Gregorius to lead off the 6th inning. Here's another one. What makes Aaron so tough, yeah, he throws mid-upper 90s, but he's got so much movement on it. He can also four-seam it if he has to, like that one, and push him off the plate. But then his fastball, he can two-seam it, and he gets a lot of movement on his fastball. Gregorius, thinking that ball's going to be away, almost walks right into that fastball.
You're right. It took him a long time to bail out. He was anticipating a running fastball away. And he takes ball 4. He has reached each time he's let off an inning. Aaron Sanchez made 30 starts in 2016, and he led the American League in ERA. He had a 3.00 earned run average. He was better than Verlander, Tanaka, and Kluber.
I think that shows you the type of pitcher that he could be. He's a much better pitcher now than he was back in 2016. 2016 was basically fastball, curveball. Now he's got that changeup. He can dial it in just a little bit more. Shows you the type of talent that he has, being able to lead the American League in ERA. He's a better pitcher now.
Well, and you remember too, in 2016 there was the talk, well, he might not be a starter, so I think Aaron felt like he had to go out and prove himself every start, so it didn't give him an opportunity to develop that changeup. He kind of stayed with his bread and butter, and that was that great fastball.
There are some innings limits. Remember that? They were talking about innings, and they said, you know what, let's just let him go and let him finish off the season. Should we move him into the bullpen? Was that the year that he went down to A-ball, I believe, and to limit some of his innings and wear and tear on his arm?
Yeah. And there were a lot of ideas about how you preserve his health and make sure that he didn't extend himself too much in his first full season as a starter. Danny Barnes starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays. Top of the 6th inning, 2-1 Yanks. And Aaron, all of a sudden, after pounding the strike zone through the first 5 innings, has had a little trouble with his command.
Just can't get on top of that one, and it's just right underneath the belt of Gary Sanchez.
Aaron has walked 3. He walked Walker in the 4th, Gardner in the 5th, and now Gregorius here in the 6th. Ground ball, pulled foul.
Still has a good fastball, and it's moving. Gary Sanchez was geared up for a fastball and got one, and he hit it off his thumbs.
That's the beauty of the Sanchez Aaron fastball. You can anticipate getting a fastball, but you can't anticipate the movement. Full count. Gregorius, he can run a little bit. He's at first.
They've hit into a couple of double plays tonight, so Aaron Boone might start that runner over at first base to stay out of the double play.
There he goes. Fly ball left field. Granderson back in front of the warning track makes the catch, and Gregorius heads back to first. So you're right, Pat. They started the runner anticipating a ball on the ground, but they get a fly ball out, first out of the inning. First baseman Neil Walker 0 for 1 with a walk. Walker was traded from the Mets to the Brewers on August 12th last year. Hot shot past Travis into right. Gregorius will stop at second.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Friday night here at Rogers Center. Pete Walker with a trip to the mound. I think he sensed that Aaron needs a little breather in this inning. Home plate umpire Paul Nart making note of the mound visit, and that's a new wrinkle this year. Keeping track of the visits to the mound either by a coach, manager, or by a player. Each team allowed 6 trips to the mound.
His next pitch will be number 80 tonight. And when you face a team like the Yankees, every pitch becomes a big pitch, if you will, and it drains you. You know, he's physically strong enough to throw 100, 110 pitches. This will be number 80. It's draining on you.
Pete Walker getting confirmation that Barnes is ready in the bullpen. Sanchez looking for that ground ball. Billy McKinney takes the ball outside. McKinney picked up his first big league hit back in the 2nd. This is his first major league game. Just recall, after the game yesterday, Aaron Hicks went on the disabled list. Minor leagues hadn't even started their season yet, and here he is in the big leagues.
He's already got his first big league hit. Was stranded at third base that first time up. He was also on base on a fielder's choice. You can see Aaron taking a little bit more time in between each pitches here, just to gather himself.
He only needs one good sinking fastball to get out of this inning. Popped up, playable. Left side of the infield. Diaz, the shortstop, calls for it. The infield fly rule in effect, and it's the second out of the inning. So Sanchez trying to get out of this sixth inning jam. And he's going to have to do it against the guy that's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, Brendan Drury. Drury in the season opener went 1 for 4. He had a single, struck out twice. He's 2 for 2 so far tonight.
They had a newcomer yesterday in the game, and Giancarlo Stanton have a big game. That's a curveball. And now another newcomer in Drury having a big game. Try the curveball. He hasn't introduced it to Drury, and that one just slips out of his hand. They wanted that ball down and away.
Changeup. Look at the difference in the changeup here in the sixth inning compared to 90-91 early in the game.
Yeah, we saw some 91s on the changeup. Now it's 86, and that's where he really liked to be.
He softened it up. That one ran off the plate inside. 2 balls and a strike. Yankees trying to add to their lead. They lead it 2-1. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 7-3.
It's a big pitch right here. He doesn't want to go 3-1 to Drury.
Breaking ball. Martin thought it was good right at the top of the zone. They didn't get to call. It is indeed 3-1.
And as a hitter, you can start eliminating pitches here. He hit a double off the top of the wall in right field. I believe that was off of a fastball, and then pulled a fastball to left field for an RBI single last time up.
Another walk. That might be it for Aaron. 4th walk of the game comes here in the 6th. Once again, Pete Walker checking on the status of their bullpen. Danny Barnes appears to be ready. Tyler Wade, the number 9 hitter, is the batter. Looks like they're going to give Sanchez a chance to get out of it.
I think so. Again, his pitch count's pretty good at just 87 pitches. He's handled Wade twice tonight easily. Struck him out one time and hit a weak ground ball to the first baseman his last time up. I think you give your starter every opportunity to try and win the ball game.
He missed again after really starting out pounding the strike zone. He threw 11 of 18 first pitch strikes through 5 innings. And now it's been a little bit inconsistent. 2 walks in the inning. The bases are loaded. That's going to drop for a base hit. Gregorius is in to score. Walker right behind him. He's going to score. They'll stop Drury at 3rd, and Tyler Wade. It's a big 2-out, 2-run single here. And the Yankees have taken a 4-1 lead.
And that will do it. He was trying to get him out of this inning so they could possibly score a couple of runs and give him a chance to win the ball game. But he just elevated that pitch to Wade. Wade's had a good spring for him. Aaron Boone has really fallen in love with him and really likes him, puts him in the lineup tonight. Now he cashes in a couple of runs.
Didi Gregorius scores the 2nd time. He's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. Aaron Sanchez is out. Danny Barnes is in. The Yankees have a 4-1 lead. Goes 5 2/3. The 4 walks led to his undoing. He kind of lost the strike zone a bit, especially here in the 6th inning. A couple of walks. Gregorius had a leadoff walk, and then Drury drew the walk to load the bases, and Tyler Wade cashed him in, and now Danny Barnes is into the game.
Danny pitched in yesterday's ball game, an inning, gave up a couple of hits in a run. His job right now is get an out right here, and that will probably be it. Pitching on back-to-back days. Pretty good against left-handers last year with that changeup.
Yankees lead it 4-1. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 8-3. Leadoff man Brett Gardner takes a pitch upstairs. We talk about the balance of this Yankee lineup, and the top hitters get all the attention, but tonight the bottom third of the Yankees lineup 4 for 8 with 2 doubles and 4 ribbies.
Yeah, yesterday it was Gardner scoring a couple runs, hitting a home run. Judge had 2 hits, scored a run, and then we all know what Stanton did. Well, there's more to him than just those guys at the top. The bottom's getting it done tonight.
Drury, he's 2 for 2 with 2 ribbies. Tyler Wade picks up 2 RBIs with the double. Billy McKinney has a base hit, his first big league hit. And Danny Barnes is behind Brett Gardner, 2-0. Tough call. Boy, Gardner didn't like it, and you could see why.
He's asking, that ball looked like it was off the plate.
See, now this is where, in my mind, these framing stats really are flawed. That last pitch was maybe 8 inches off the plate, and Russell Martin's going to get credit for stealing a strike.
Yeah, framing up a strike for his pitcher.
Sorry. 2-1, 2 outs. Gardner pops up the bunt attempt, trying to add to their lead and catch the Blue Jays infield flat-footed.
Interesting. Normally with 2 runners in scoring position, you'd like to get a base hit and score 2 of them. But he caught Solarte, the third baseman, playing deep. And now with 2 strikes, he can back up as far as he wants.
Now it's a full count. First base is open. Drury's at third. Tyler Wade's at second. Brett Gardner, the hitter, with a full count, and Aaron Judge is on deck. The 2 runners on base. Sanchez's responsibility. In the air. This should end the inning. Solarte, the third baseman, makes the catch, and Barnes gets out of it. He strands a pair of inherited runners, something he was great at a year ago. But the Yankees have a 4-1 lead. We're pleased to be joined now by our pal Joe Siddle, as Joe has now joined the Blue Jays Central team. Joe, you have given up the radio for a much more glamorous TV spot.
Hello, gentlemen. Yes, I hung out with you guys enough for 4 years. I thought I'd come over full time.
Absolutely great. How are you enjoying it so far?
So far, so good. You know, we got a couple of games in with the 2 games in Montreal. Jamie and I did those from the studio here in Toronto, so that was a nice little dry run. And Cliff Floyd has joined us for this Yankee series. Kevin Bark was with us for opening day. We were kind of all hands on deck yesterday, but so far, so good. We just need a better result on the field.
How's it look like down the left field line as opposed to sitting back behind home plate?
It's a much different perspective. I find myself looking over my right shoulder to watch the game action live, and then I look over my left shoulder to pick up the little feed on the TV so I can see these big Yankee swings.
So what's your impression been so far? Obviously, Blue Jays are having a hard time figuring out this Yankee pitching staff so far.
Yeah, it's been a tough go, and I think when you look at what Severino did yesterday, and you guys got to see it too, and we know he's one of the best in the game, and that's why I'm the last person that's going to say the Blue Jays hitters are struggling here. I don't even think you can evaluate a lineup against a guy like Severino, especially with what we saw from him yesterday. But tonight was a little different. I thought, the Blue Jays have seen Tanaka enough. I spoke to a couple of hitters in the afternoon, and we know we don't see a whole lot of fastballs from him anymore. So I thought, the resounding theme from a few of the hitters that I spoke with maybe sitting soft, looking for that slider, the split, making the ball be up. But it's amazing how it looks so different in the batter's box, and you guys know very well it's easy to see from here, but they just have not been able to connect.
I think it's pretty smart that they have a guy throwing 98 one day, then you got the guy with a little bit of everything the next day. But tell me, Joe, from where you're sitting out there, how did Aaron look to Dave Sanchez, his first start of the season?
Much like Jay Happ yesterday, guys, I think the strength is going to be this rotation, and I still say it after 2 days here. Jay was great yesterday. I thought Aaron was excellent, and I really was looking for Aaron to pound that fastball in on the hands of some of these Yankees hitters, and I thought he's done a great job of it. Overall, he's done a great job. He's got the power sinker down in the zone. He's got a ton of ground ball outs tonight. That works in his favor for sure, but he's been able to elevate as well. It surprised me a little bit, and I know we've talked about Aaron's changeup throughout the course of spring training. I honestly did not think we were going to see many changeups. Even though it was a big story in spring training, I still think it's his 3rd best pitch, but he threw some darn good ones tonight. Maybe a little hard at times, but it's been a very effective pitch, so I thought he was pretty darn good. It's just unfortunately not going to get the result he wanted, much like Jay did not.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of got to a point where he was out of gas a little bit because he lost the strike zone.
Thought he was really laboring in that inning, and the one visit to the mound was one thing, but I did not think Gibby was going to leave him out there. And I'm a big fan, huge fan of a manager leaving that starting pitcher. It's his responsibility. Let him win or lose that ball game. Unfortunately, later in the season, maybe so, but you guys saw what I did. He was laboring that inning, and I really thought he was done. Unfortunately, one extra hit, but there's the bottom of that Yankees lineup, and you worry about the big boys so much, and you just can't. I spoke to Russ about that this afternoon. He talked about the big boys, but then you can't let up, and sure enough, they showed that here tonight.
Donaldson pops it out of play.
Do you think we saw some of those changeups from Aaron, and I like it. I like that 3rd pitch as a hitter. If I'm facing a pitcher with 2 pitches, I could pretty much figure him out. But with Aaron bringing up that changeup, do you think early on, at least when we saw some 91s, that was adrenaline, that he was just fired up for this start?
It's probably part adrenaline, Tabby, but it's also just part Aaron Sanchez right now. We saw it last year, or not last year we can write off, but even the year before. His changeup, if anything, at times is hard. It's firm.
There's a fly ball to deep left center. Billy McKinney runs it down. Donaldson is 0 for 3, and Tanaka has set down 12 in a row.
So I think he still wants to take a little bit off that shoot. I think I saw one at 93 tonight. So that's a little bit firm. If you're up around 96 with a fastball, I always thought as a catcher, ideally about 10 miles off in that 86 range would probably be pretty good. But the biggest thing is the action he's getting on that pitch, and it's remarkable, much like the 2-seam fastball, diving down and away from those lefties.
Now you can see Tommy Kahnle is loosening up for the Yankees, and Joe Siddle, we want to thank you for your time. We want to wish you the best of luck. Thanks for coming over to the TV side, pal, but we're going to miss you on the road, that's for sure.
It's a pleasure to join you guys. Have a great night.
Welcome.
Right.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe Siddle, he will be with Jamie Campbell, Cliff Floyd, Kevin Barker from time to time. They'll all be there as part of Blue Jays Central. Justin Smoke lines this one into the seats down the left side. Smoke has one of the 3 Blue Jay hits. Smoke doubled his first time up back in the first. Randall Grichuk hit a 1-out home run in the second. And Kevin Pillar, he got the 3rd hit also in the second inning, a double.
Tanaka has been masterful. Since that home run at fastball, he started mixing up his pitches. This looks like a fastball.
I gotta say this again, and I've been talking about it all night long. Gary Sanchez has done a heck of a job tonight. For a guy that gets criticized for his catching, I think he's called an excellent game. He and Tanaka have really been on the same page. You saw Sanchez tap the umpire's right leg to say, I need some room. I got to slide in here to get the target inside. And he reached back and he tapped Paul Nard on the shin guard and said, hey, I'm coming inside, so give me a little space here.
Yeah, move out of the way. It's going to be a slider down and in. And he got the spot. So we've seen fastball, slider.
There haven't been many pitches that Tanaka has shaken off tonight.
But it looks like he has a definite pitch on his mind, Tanaka.
And now he's got it. On to throw a curveball. I mean, that's difficult for a catcher. We showed you early in the ball game how many different pitches Tanaka throws, but Sanchez has done a good job. Larry Rothschild, the longtime pitching coach, has to be pleased with the game plan. Rothschild, his 8th season as the pitching coach. He's been terrific. His 44th year as a player, coach, or a manager. He was the first manager for the Tampa Bay Rays.
And that was a good move by the Yankees to bring their pitching coaches, if you will, along after Aaron Boone got the job. Same message. Keep the same message that they've had because the staff's been good the last few years.
Smoke having a pretty good battle here with Tanaka. Tanaka has been in the strike zone all night, only 18 balls out of his 78 pitches thrown. That's exactly what the Yankees were hoping he would do this year. Throw a lot more strikes, and he's done just that. Popped up, shallow left field. McKinney on the run. He gets there and makes the catch. The Blue Jays have gone down 13 in a row. Tanaka has everything working for him. The Yankees have a 4-run lead. Ryan Tepera will make his season debut against Aaron Judge when we come back. Top of the 7th. He had a terrific season a year ago, 7-1 with a very good earned run average. He appeared in 73 games, a total of 77 2/3 innings. And he's going to be handed the 2 and 3 hitters in the order. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. And when you look at these two, one of the most powerful duos in the history of baseball.
Yeah, what do you think of when you think of Judge and Stanton? Right away, I think of Maris and Mantle. That is the record for most home runs by a pair of teammates in a season in that glorious 61 season. 115, 61 home runs for Maris, 54 for Mickey Mantle. I think they've got an outstanding chance, a real good chance of getting close or beating that record.
59 for Stanton, 52 for Judge a year ago, and neither one of them really wants to talk about 60 home runs. They want to talk about the Yankees winning the division and going into the postseason.
You know, Giancarlo Stanton said that the other day when someone asked him about Judge and himself, and he said, what you don't want to do is start looking at numbers. Start thinking about numbers, what you did last year, because that puts added pressure on you. If you try and duplicate what you did last year, it's going to drive you crazy. He said what you have to do is you just play the game day by day. Just start mounting the numbers. And after 6 months, you'll be able to look back and say, okay, I had a good year. I did it.
Tepera had 0-2. Missed with that pitch. Judge and Stanton finished 1st and 2nd in home runs in the majors. It's the first time teammates have started the season 1st and 2nd from the previous year in home runs since '66. And Tepera strikes out Judge. Ryan Tepera picking it up right where he left off a year ago.
What a season last year for Ryan. He was 7-1. We saw that on his stats, but we also saw 81 strikeouts in 77 2/3 innings. Slider down and away. It's a late breaking slider, and he put it in a good spot.
First pitch fastball at 97. This is the hardest that Tepera has thrown all season. He didn't approach 97 during the spring. Now there's a little adrenaline there. Stanton's 0 for 3. And he's behind 0-2.
I thought Aaron Sanchez pitched him beautifully tonight. He had that running fastball right in on his hands where he couldn't extend. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout.
Trying to finish off Stanton the same way he got Judge. We mentioned the two teammates 1st and 2nd in the majors from the previous season. Last time it happened was 1966. Willie Mays and Willie McCovey of the San Francisco Giants. Tepera strikes out Stanton.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Here's a man that has really set the tone for the Yankees tonight. Didi Gregorius has reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate. Triple, double, and a walk. Each of those at bats leading off innings.
Scored a couple of runs. Had something to do with each one of their scoring opportunities. Yankees are not going to be with Greg Bird for a couple of months at least, so they needed a left-handed batter to stick between these righties. Tonight, Didi Gregorius has come through for his new manager.
He is such an important part of this lineup. You can hit him top of the order, you can hit him down in the order, or you can hit him cleanup like he's hit tonight. Everybody looks at this powerful lineup and said, Didi Gregorius is your 4th hitter?
Well, he did hit 25 home runs last season.
Ground ball. Big hop for Travis at 2nd. How about Ryan Tepper, his first outing of the season? He strikes out Judge, he strikes out Stanton, and gets Gregorius for the first time tonight. Baseball for you coming up. How about the Giants and the Dodgers? The Giants won 1-0 on a Joe Panik home run in their season opener. It's all starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet 360. Johnny Cueto against Alex Wood for the Dodgers, and the home run by Joe Panik, just his third career home run off a left-handed pitcher, and he didn't mess around. He hit it off the best.
Clayton Kershaw, fastball inside. Tommy Kahnle will take over for the Yankees, and sometimes there's do-overs in baseball. This might be one of them. Kahnle originally was a 5th-round draft pick of the Yankees. In 2010, he was picked in the Rule 5 draft by the Rockies, who then traded him to the White Sox, and then he came over last July in that big trade with the White Sox. Todd Frazier, David Robertson, and Kahnle for Tyler Clippard and 4 other players. He has fit real nice into their bullpen. Another one of those guys who throws really hard. Hard fastball. He's reached double digits, a slider, and a pretty decent changeup that he uses a lot.
28 years old. He uses that fastball to get ahead. 96. Curtis Granderson. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. The Blue Jays have managed just 3 hits. They had 2 in the season opener. The Blue Jays, their fewest hits in the first 2 games of the season all time. 9. They had 9 hits in 3 different seasons in the first 2 ball games of the season. So far, they have 5. Tanaka was a tough customer, just like Luis Severino, the starter in Game 1. Tanaka threw just 18 balls. Kahnle strikes out Granderson, 1 away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, good news on 2 fronts there, with David Price getting off to a good start and Rafael Devers healthy. He banged up his knee in spring training as Solarte pops it up into foul ground. 2 away. Drive of the game brought to you by the powerful 2018 Civic Type R.
Second inning, Randall Grichuk's going to step in against Masahiro Tanaka first pitch swinging. He's going to get a fastball out over the plate, and welcome to the Blue Jays. This is his first home run as a Jay. The only run for the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Grichuk hit his first home run here, his first Major League home run. It's his first one as a Jay. That's tonight's drive of the game.
He goes after that first pitch fastball and skies it to right. Aaron Judge makes the catch. Tommy Kahnle comes out of the bullpen. Needs just 6 pitches to retire the side. Tyler Clippard will be the new pitcher when we come back. The Yankees lead it 4-1. This 2018 season. Got up to a good start, kind of ran into some trouble late in the game. He goes 5 2/3, starts with 4 earned runs on 8 hits. He walked 4 and struck out. So he threw 89 pitches. I think overall his quality of pitches was pretty good. Pat.
Yeah, I saw some good things from Aaron tonight, especially how he was able to get in on some of those big right-handed hitters for the New York Yankees. 4th pitcher of the night tonight will be Tyler Clippard. We saw Tyler in yesterday's game, and then he gave up a hit and a run. He gave up a home run to Giancarlo Stanton. Just mentioned about Tommy Kahnle, that he was actually traded as part of that package from the Yankees last year to the White Sox. White Sox then traded him to the Astros, and the Blue Jays signed him as a free agent first week of March this year.
Tyler Clippard pitched the 9th inning in last night's game, and he gave up the 2nd home run to Stanton. Gary Sanchez, he's dropped down into the 5th spot. Sanchez has scored a run tonight. He's officially 0 for 3. Ryan Tepera, in his first inning of work this season, retired the side in order, a couple of strikeouts. He struck out Judge and Stanton and got Gregorius to ground out.
That's it, right off the plate. Clippard was a starter when he was a minor leaguer with the Yankees. Originally drafted by the Yankees in the 9th round, he was a starter and then switched to the bullpen after he got to the big leagues. Fastball changeup combination. It's been pretty good for him.
He tried to bury that slider, threw it in the dirt. Clippard, now 33 years old. He grew up in Newport Richey, Florida, just north of Dunedin. Pat mentioned he was drafted by the Yankees in 2003. Made it to the big leagues for the first time as a 22-year-old in 2007. His first 8 appearances in the big leagues were all as a starter. There's a changeup. Gary Sanchez is a pretty good changeup hitter. We have seen that in the past as he's had success against Marco Estrada and his great changeup. He stayed on that pitch very well. Marco will get the nod tomorrow in Game 3 of this 4-game series. They go up against CC Sabathia. Game time 4:07 Eastern time. CC 14-5 a year ago. He just keeps plugging along, doesn't he?
He's reinvented himself. And we'll talk about that tomorrow afternoon. Always been tough on the Blue Jays.
There's a good heater, and Sanchez strikes out, one away in the top of the 8th.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Friday night crowd here on this Good Friday, 33,716 for Game 2 of this 4-game season opening series against the Yankees. Neil Walker fouls off the first pitch. Walker has singled and scored back in the 6th. He walked in the 4th and flied out in the 2nd. Fly ball, shallow right field. Gritchick coming in quickly, and Clifford has retired the first 2 here in the 8th.
Pretty good changeup right there. Got Walker out in front, right off the end of the bat. He's pitched for the Nationals. He's pitched for the Diamondbacks. He's pitched with the Yankees a couple of times. Athletics, Mets. You mentioned the White Sox. He was with the Astros last year. Tyler's been around.
First pitch changeup for a ball. Comes right back with it. Evens a count at 1-1.
Interesting defensive alignment, Buck. This kid making his major league debut tonight. The Blue Jays have some information on him. They got the shift working on him. That is Solarte, the third baseman tonight, stationed out at second base. 3 infielders on the right side.
Clifford using his fastball a little more effectively here this inning. He struck out Sanchez with the fastball to start the inning. And now he's ahead of Billy McKinney. There's the defensive alignment for the Blue Jays. Clifford with that great changeup. Martin goes to first to finish off the strikeout. Good inning for Tyler Clifford. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Time now for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Cliff Floyd, the former Expo. Telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Rando Grichuk has accounted for the only Blue Jay run. He hit his first home run of the season to deep left center off of Masahiro Tanaka back in the second. The Yankees have a 4-1 lead as the Blue Jays are set to bat here in the bottom of the eighth. Tommy Kahnle had a good first inning of work, retired to side in order on just 7 pitches. Kahnle last season appeared in 69 games for the Yankees. He never had a 2-inning appearance all season long. Most he'd ever thrown for the Yankees last year, an inning and 2/3.
Well, he made it look so easy last inning. What did he throw? 6 pitches?
7 pitches.
7 pitches. Got to run him back out there, don't you?
He had 7 appearances a year ago out of those 69 of more than an inning. That's his changeup.
That's his changeup. It's 90 miles an hour. It's a 3-finger changeup, meaning his index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. Grabs the ball with that and then tries to throw it as hard as he can. When you dig it back in your fingers like that, he gets a lot of movement on that changeup.
Kendrys Morales did not start in the game with Donaldson playing the DH role. Morales did not have good lifetime numbers against the starter Masahiro Tanaka. Martin takes it upstairs. Full count. Russell leading off the 8th. Blue Jays need to rally. And I tell you what, it's tough against the Yankees bullpen.
Yeah, it's one of the best in baseball. A lot of hard throwers. Got to get a couple of guys on. It looks like he's going to throw his changeup again. But you got to get a couple of guys on. Put a little pressure on him, maybe pop one out of here. Tampa Bay looked like they were dead in the water yesterday in the 8th inning, down 4-0 to the Red Sox, and came back and scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning to win that one.
Leadoff walk. That's encouraging.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Game 2 of this season, the Yankees won the opener. Blue Jays trail 4-1 as they bat in the 8th. There were a couple of walk-off home runs in the games yesterday. Adam Jones had a walk-off home run against Minnesota in the 11th. Nick Markakis for the Braves had a walk-off home run in the 9th with 2 outs. Had a 3-run home run in the 9th. The Phillies had a 5-run lead in that game. The Braves tied it up. It was 5-5 when Markakis hit the 3-run home run. David Robertson, who has been the Yankees closer in the past, is no longer in that role. That's Aroldis Chapman, but Robertson reacquired by the Yankees to add depth to their bullpen. Fastball for a strike. It's 2-1. Russell Martin at first with the leadoff walk. Kevin Pillar is hitting in the 8th spot. Aledmys Diaz is on deck, but you saw Kendrys Morales loosening up. He's got a bat in hand.
Yeah, he's lurking. Blue Jays need to get one more runner on base before they can bring the tying run to the plate. It's a big at bat for the Blue Jays.
Good take. 3-1 now. Blue Jays haven't had much offense in the first 2 games. We mentioned 5 hits in total. High fly ball to right, not that deep. Judge is there. That's the first out of the inning. So Diaz has been called back to the dugout, and here is Kendrys Morales. Morales will come on and pinch hit with 1 out in the 8th. Diaz finishes up 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
If you're John Gibbons, what you're thinking about, okay, I got to pop one out of here and get close. Aaron Boone has waited until Morales was called into the ball game, announced into the game.
Well, they had this matchup in mind. David Robertson has been summoned into the game. Kendrys Morales is announced as the pinch hitter. Morales is 1 for 12 against David Robertson. So Boone and Rothschild did their homework. Hanley's out. Robertson's in. Morales to pinch hit when we come back. The Yankees, the right-hander David Robertson, you see his numbers from a year ago. 61 games in his time spent between the White Sox and the Yankees.
And he has become a really good reliever. Original draft pick by the Yankees out of the University of Alabama. He spent some time, like we're showing you right there, with the White Sox in 61 games, 9-2, 184 earned run average. Fastball, he can cut it, and he's got an outstanding curveball.
Gifton Gope will play shortstop as Diaz has been taken out of the game, and that's his strength. Defensively, he is a terrific fielder.
Yeah, and if Morales gets on, he's probably going to pinch run for him because you saw he's got his helmet in hand, just waiting to get into the ball game. Kendrys will pinch hit, but you mentioned he's had his struggles against Robertson in his career.
1 for 12 for Morales against the Yankees right-hander. Blue Jays need a big hit. They've only had 3 in the game. Morales in the opener was the DH. He went 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. And Robertson's bread and butter, his money pitch, is a curveball.
Yeah, there it was right there, trying to get a first pitch strike against Morales. He can sink the ball. He'll throw a changeup. Not that much. It's basically cutter curveball.
Popped up, playable, out in front of home. First baseman Walker comes down. Morales is retired on the pop out.
He has closed in the past. You mentioned that, Buck. He did that when he was with the Yankees. He had seasons of 39. He saved 34 for the White Sox and then 37 in 2016. So these types of pressure situations, they're not new for David Robertson.
He took over for Mariano Rivera. Rivera's last season 2013 for the Yankees, and David Robertson just transitioned into that closer's role. He did it very effectively. Leadoff man Devin Travis, he's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And there's that Mariano Rivera cutter.
Yeah, 92, but it's down, going away from the right-hander.
On the ground. Gregorius at short, flips, and that'll end the inning. David Robertson comes out of the bullpen to close out the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th. They'll go to the 9th. New York leads at 4-1. Roberto Osuna will make his season debut pitching against New York in the 9th.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Yankees looking to go up 2-0 in the 4-game series. They lead at 4-1. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 8-3. Roberto Osuna will make his season debut here as he starts the top of the 9th.
Now in his 4th season, hard to believe that Roberto begins his 4th season with the Blue Jays. Already 89 saves in his career. That's what he did last season, 64 innings, 3-4 record. So Osuna first time this year.
Gifton Gope takes over defensively at shortstop. Brandon Drury, he's had a good night, and in fact the bottom third of the Yankees lineup has combined for half of the Yankee hits. Drury has 2 hits, an RBI double, and RBI singles. He's also walked. He's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. The Blue Jays bullpen, Danny Barnes, Ryan Tepera, and Tyler Clippard have retired 7 Yankees in a row.
4 of them by strikeouts. Tyler Clippard was good. A couple of strikeouts last inning.
Broken back grounder to Ngope. Right into the game. Gets tested. No problem at all. Ngope, a terrific fielder.
Don't you just love that? When you enter the ball game late, you want that first ball hit right at you. Get it over with. Handles it flawlessly and shows off a pretty good arm.
Ngope got into 28 games a year ago with the Pirates. 1 away. Tyler Wade got to start at second. There's an Osuna changeup and a good one. Osuna fields and fires to first just in time. Nice play by Roberto Osuna. Wade dropped down a pretty good bunt. Looked like he had a chance to beat it out, but Osuna made a strong throw to first.
Roberto's a good athlete. He gets over there, he fields it, and then his strong arm's going to take over. He's fallen off the mound, recovers, plants, and watch this strong arm. A bullet over to first base. This ball gets by Osuna. It's an infield hit for Wade.
Nine in a row retired by the Blue Jays relievers. Brett Gardner's 1 for 3 with a walk. He singled in the first inning. Was erased on a ground ball double play.
Something about the Yankees seems to bring out the best in Roberto Osuna, doesn't it? As you see, Aroldis Chapman starting to get loose. Some of his best numbers against the Yankees. He says, I love pitching against the Yankees. 26
games prior to this one for Osuna. A total of 28 innings, just 12 hits for the Yankees, a 130 average. His ERA 0.96 in those 26 games. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
And that's basically how he says it. It's a big stage whenever you're facing the Yankees, either here or in New York, and he loves it.
A ball and 2 strikes. He wouldn't chase. The one bright spot to this point for the Blue Jays tonight has been the work of their bullpen. Danny Barnes came in and inherited 2 base runners and got Gardner to pop out. That ended the 6th inning. An emergency hack by Gardner, protecting the inside part of the plate. Ryan Tepera retired to side in order with a couple of strikeouts. Tyler Clippard retired to side in order in the 8th with 2 strikeouts, and Osuna has retired the first 2 here in the 9th. Wouldn't chase that changeup.
Gardner doesn't chase. He's always had a high on base percentage. He's always been one of the leaders in pitches seen. You want to retire him because you don't want to have to face this guy if you don't have to.
Down the left field line, that's going to slice back into the seats out of play. Roberto became the 4th pitcher in team history with at least 3 seasons of 20 or more saves. Only Tom Henke had more than Osuna. Henke had 7 such seasons. And you mentioned it. He's just 23.
Yeah, already in his 4th big league season.
Ground ball in. Gope with another chance at short. Good inning for Osuna. The bullpen has been outstanding. But the Yankees have a 4-1 lead. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Aroldis Chapman and his 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming into the game. Donaldson, Smoke, and Granderson. Chapman, the closer for the Yankees, comes in to protect this 3-run lead for New York. 52 games a year ago, and Chapman has been terrific throughout his major league career.
Does most of his work with that great fastball. 4-3 last year in 52 games with an outstanding earned run average. And look at the strikeouts, 69 of them, and he does it again mostly with the heater. He's got the best fastball in all of baseball. You better turn it up a notch when you face this guy. He's averaging about 100 miles an hour. Relievers, fastball velocity, Joe Kelly, Dylan Betances, he's out in that bullpen also, and Felipe Rivero is another one of those guys who throws hard in the bullpen. Chapman has averaged almost 15 strikeouts per 9 innings for his career.
He has the all-time record strikeouts per 9 innings in a single season. Back in 2014, he averaged 17.67 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's better than Craig Kimbrell, who has 2 such seasons, including last year. Kimbrell averaged 16.4 strikeouts per 9 last year for the Red Sox. 99 to Donaldson.
Chapman pitched in yesterday's ball game. The 6-1 win by the Yankees. An inning, had a couple of strikeouts.
Donaldson fouls it off at 101. Josh is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Randall Grichuk has provided the Blue Jays with their only run, a solo home run way back in the second off Masahiro Tanaka. The Blue Jays in the first 2 games of this season have managed just 5 hits.
Both runs coming on home runs.
Slider in the dirt. Donaldson strikes out. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osback. Thank you very much. That's all coming up right after this ball game. Make sure you stay tuned, and the Leafs certainly trying to carry their regular season momentum into the Stanley Cup playoffs as they prepare for the postseason. Smoke fouls that one right off his foot. The Blue Jays' previous low in hits after first 2 games of the season was 9. 3 different seasons the Blue Jays offense started out with just 9 hits in a season. 1990, 1998, and 2013. So far in the first 2 games, they have managed just 5 hits. You got to give some credit to Severino and Tanaka.
Yeah,
they were tough.
Yeah, and then the bullpen also in last night's game for the Yankees. Chapman, Betances, and Green, they gave up 1 hit in 3 1/3 innings. Tonight, Canely, Robertson, and now Chapman, they haven't given up a hit.
CC Sabathia, coming off a 14-5 season, will go to the mound for New York. He'll be opposed by Marco Estrada. Marco's had a very good spring. He's thrown the ball very well, and he had a strong finish to his season a year ago. Estrada and Sabathia. It all starts just after 4 Eastern time tomorrow. Smoke strikes out. Second time he has gone down swinging, and we'll have a pinch hitter with 2 outs here in the 9th.
Well, this one was registered at 101. But on top of that, look where it is. Justin's got to reach for it, and it comes up empty. That's not a lot of time to be able to recognize what pitch it is. It gets on you in a hurry.
Steve Pearce got a pinch hit at bat in last night's game, also against Chapman. He was called out on strikes in the 9th inning. Chapman struck out 2 as he retired the side in order. Blue Jays struck out 12 times last night. They have struck out 11 times tonight. The Blue Jays and the Yankees will play a total of 8 times before the end of April. So you can ill afford to fall too far behind, and this is a challenging schedule. Marcus Stroman will start on Sunday against the Yankees. He's always pitched well against New York, and he looks to do the same in his season opener on Sunday. He'll match up against Sonny Gray.
Challenging April for the Blue Jays. You know, on top of the 8 games that you were talking about with the Yankees, 4 here and then 4 in New York. You've got Boston on the schedule. You've got Cleveland on the schedule. 3 games in Cleveland. The White Sox are coming to town after the Blue Jays. You don't know what you're going to get with them with those young kids.
White Sox have scored a lot of runs all throughout the spring into the regular season debut. Full count to Steve Pearce. And there is Solarte 0 for 3, waits on deck with a hope of getting to the plate. There's a base hit, maybe extra bases for Pearce. All the way up against the wall. He is headed for second. He'll get there standing up with a 2-out double.
You know, as a hitter in these situations, when you've got a guy throwing this hard, it's 3-2. He's got a 3-run lead. You can pretty much figure out he's going to throw you a fastball, but don't be long. Have a short swing, and that's exactly what Pearce does. You can see how short that barrel comes through the bat. It's not a long swing, and that allows him to get the head out, pull this ball down the left field line for extra bases. Well, you start getting long when a guy throws 100 miles an hour, and he's going to be jamming you.
Nervous Solarte got the start at third base with Donaldson, the DH tonight. First pitch, breaking ball. Hard to look for that pitch when you know he throws triple digits. The breaking ball, this one pulled foul. Again, the Blue Jays down to their final strike.
Yeah, it's tough to look for 100 miles an hour, and then he crosses you up with that breaking ball. You just got to battle.
Liner into the alley in right center. That's going to get down and go up against the wall. Pearce is around third. He's in to score as Solarte has a double to the power alley in right center. And all of a sudden, the Blue Jays will get the potential tying run to the plate.
That's how you battle him right there. A couple of breaking balls, and he falls behind 2 strikes. Then gets an elevated fastball from Chapman. He's going to take advantage of that one and drill it up the gap in right field. You know, you can throw 100 miles an hour, but if you don't throw it where you need to get outs, big league hitters are going to do that.
So Solarte picks up his first RBI of the season, a 2-out double here in the ninth. Brando Grichuk, he homered back in the second. Grichuk just 0 for 2 against Chapman. 1 for 3 on the night. Off the plate inside.
Make him work. You got to keep telling yourself, stay short. Stay short to the baseball. He will supply all the power. You just make sure you catch it out in front like he did back in the second inning against Tanaka. Catches that ball out in front and drives it out of here for his first home run as a Blue Jay. Probably going to get a fastball here, 2-0.
How you say, try to be short, get to the ball quickly. Don't try to muscle it. Try to hit it hard, not far.
That's right. He'll supply the power. You just got to catch it out in front.
Fouled it back. He had a good cut. Grichuk has had 2 multi-home run games. Both of those came in 2015 while playing for the Cardinals. Nasty slider. He was able to get the bat on it and pulled it foul. It's 2-2 now.
He is choking up a little bit more than he normally does. Randall usually has that choke up grip, but you can see he's gone up just a little bit higher on that bat knob. So he can control the bat just a little bit more, shorten things up.
Solarte at second. Yankees lead it 4-2. Another off-speed pitch. He was out in front. Chapman has now thrown 21 pitches. Struck out the first 2 batters of the inning and then surrendered back-to-back doubles. Pearson, Solarte. Hanging tough.
Yes, he is. Making him work.
Strike 3 called. Grichuk called out on strikes. Chapman strikes out 3 in the inning. The Blue Jays get on the board, but the Yankees are 2-0 early on. Billy McKinney got his first big league hit here tonight. Didi Gregorius had a big night at the plate. Triple-double. He scored a pair of runs. And Brandon Drury picks up his first 2 RBIs as a Yankee.
Yeah, in yesterday's ball game, it was the top of the lineup of the Yankees doing all the damage. Tonight, the bottom of the lineup doing the damage, and then you bring in Chapman. They made him work. They got the tying run to the plate, but tonight, Chapman wins that battle.
Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be Marco Estrada against C.C. Sabathia in Game 3 of this 4-game series. The Yankees win it 4-2. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great night. Stay tuned. Sportsnet Central is next with Ken Reed and Ivanka Osback.